Well, hello. Welcome to our second Wednesday in Lent. The theme for today is values. What do you value, or what matters? What matters that Jesus was tempted in the wilderness? Now, all three of the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, tell us that Jesus was tempted in the wilderness. We read Luke's on Sunday. If you missed it, you can go read Luke 4, 1 to 11, or you can go back and watch worship from Sunday. But three of the four Gospels tell this story. Matthew tells us that Jesus went into the wilderness. He got tempted 3 times. The devil said, turn these rocks into bread. Jesus said, no, human beings should live by the word of God. The devil then took him up onto a mountain and said, or took him on the top of the temple and said, throw yourself down and angels will collect you. And he said, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And then finally, the devil took him up on top of a mountain, showed him all of the nations of the world, and said, worship me, and they will be yours. And Jesus said, be gone, Satan. Right? That's Matthew's version of the story. Clearly from Matthew, well, maybe not so clearly from Matthew. There are two other versions of the story. What matters? Mark's version is really, really different. All right, Mark just says Jesus went into the wilderness to be tempted for 40 days and was waited on by the angels during that time. Doesn't tell us about the substance of the temptations. Just says it went on for 40 days, which is biblical for a sufficient amount of time, and that he had help. It's almost like Mark values the idea that Jesus was not alone. Right? No matter what's happening, you have help. You're not alone. We compare that to Matthew, and maybe you get in a sense from Matthew that, he ends on this strong, be gone, Satan, that Satan's out of here. What does Luke care about in this story? Luke tells us the 3 temptations, but he messes up the order of them, probably on purpose. He says, you want to turn rocks into bread? No. Live by God. Then he says, hey, you want to worship me, you can be king of everybody. Jesus says, no, that's we worship God only. And he ends with this one about being tested. And he says to him, if you throw yourself down, the angels will pick you up. And Jesus says, hey, I'm the one taking the test, not God. And so don't be tempting me. God's the one who, God is testing me. It's not the other way around. And this seems to be what Luke values in the story, right? Luke tells us in his genealogy of Jesus that Jesus is the Son of God, but he's also son of Joseph, who's son of someone else, and works all the way back through Adam, who is son of God. It's almost like Jesus is like Adam Mark II, the new version. He's the human being who's doing what the human being is supposed to do. Like what Luke seems to value about Jesus in this temptation is how human he is. Okay? All of those gospel stories have different values about this story. What does it matter to you? What's it matter to you that Jesus is tempted in the wilderness? It probably means something different to each of us. For today, take a moment and just ponder that. If you'd like to share what you're thinking about that, you can leave something in the comments to the video. But what does it matter to you, not Matthew, Mark, or Luke, but to you, that Jesus was tempted and got through it? What does it value? What does it mean to you? I look forward to seeing what you have to say, and I hope to see you all in church or online in the coming weeks. Thanks for being with us.